Hey King of Bros, what's up? It's your buddy Rue, and welcome to Volume 1 of Rue Played Dead Rising 2. I promised you I'd be back, and here we go. I hope you guys are ready for some more zombie action. Since I'm going to reference some parts of the first game, I highly recommend you to check out my videos on the first game. Maybe do so by clicking the annotations on the screen. Well, Dead Rising 2. What is there to say? Well, first of all, it's a sequel to Dead Rising, obviously, and it centers around a zombie outbreak in the fictional city, Fortune City. The game's main protagonist isn't Frank West. No, this time around we are taking control of Chuck Green, a former motorcycle champion who has to take care of his daughter Katie after losing his wife in a zombie outbreak. And that outbreak also destroyed Las Vegas. That's a little information you want to keep in mind, since it's going to be important for the rest of the game. There are only few but significant changes to the gameplay this time around. One major addition is the introduction of Zombrex, a drug that stops infected people from turning into zombies. If you remember the end of my last video, where Frank and Isabella created that inhibitor, that was pretty much the prototype of Zombrex. It's a nice little callback to the first game, I think. Zombrex is also important because Katie, Chuck's daughter, needs it every day, and one of the main storylines or main quests, missions in the game is to get Zombrex for Katie and give it to her every day. Another big and maybe the most important addition to Dead Rising 2 is the introduction of combo weapons. Combo weapons may be the reason for the franchise's fame. In combining mundane objects, Chuck is able to create devastating weapons to aid him in his bloody crusade against the zombie hordes. You may already have seen the famous spiked bag or the really awesome paddle saw. Oh my god, I love these weapons. Besides that, there isn't much different from the first game. The graphics are updated, the game world is bigger, and there are still survivors that want to be saved. This time around they tweaked the AI a bit, and it's a lot less frustrating to escort them. And don't forget the psychopaths. Of course there are psychopaths in this game too. They are back. But as I said in my Dead Rising finale, I want to tweak my content on the channel a little bit. That means I will use these videos right now to talk about the story, and in a separate weekly video I will give you a little introduction and guide on the psychopaths and what's the best way to beat them. Alright, enough explaining, let's roll the intro and jump right in the story of Dead Rising 2. So the game starts with the introduction of the main character, Chuck Green. Chuck Green is a former motocross champion, and he's taking part in a pay-per-view show called Terror is Reality. Terror is Reality is like a game show where people fight zombies, where they kill them. They call it the big payback for all the cities that the zombies destroyed in the past. And the reason for Chuck being part of this game show is that his daughter Katie got bit by a zombie in the big Las Vegas outbreak. As I said earlier, Las Vegas was destroyed by the zombies. He also lost his wife, and that's of course really sad.
Hey buddy, I heard you lost your wife in Vegas. I guess you suck at killing zombies, otherwise she'd still be around!
Chuck is doing all this not because he likes to kill zombies, he has to earn money to buy Zombrex for Katie. Zombrex is that inhibitor, that anti-zombie drug that keeps people bitten by zombies to turn into zombies. That's why he is doing all this. In this opening cutscene, we're also introduced to Tyrone King, the host of the game show, and his two assistants. think the names are... Yeah, the names are Crystal and Amber. They are twins. And Chuck has to play terrorist reality to make money. Now there are two ways how this can play out, this whole intro scene. There are two options. A, if you get into first place, or if you not come into first place. Yeah, sounds logical. But it doesn't really matter if you win or if you lose, since people are going to give you shit anyway. This happens if you lose.
Though I did expect a little bit more from a real motocross champion.
And this happens if you win.
I was hoping for a better ride from you, Chuck. But maybe you just don't know how to handle tight curves.
Somehow in this game, you are either an asshole or a good guy. So after the show, Chuck goes on to pick up Katie and buy some Zombrex as the whole building is shook by an explosion. And of course, there's a zombie outbreak. Yay, you have to start the plot somehow. Chuck and Katie narrowly escape to an emergency shelter. Damn, that was really hard to get out. Where they meet other survivors and the reservist Sullivan and Stacy Forsythe. Stacy is the leader of Cure, a protest group for the rights of zombies. They're basically a really morbid PETA. Now the problem is that Chuck wasn't able to buy Zombrex as the whole outbreak thing was happening, so he sets out to grab some Zombrex. He climbs through the vents and reaches a pharmacy where he first encounters the looters. They are what the name implies, they are people looting the stores and trying to make money out of the situation, where he picks up some Zombrex. As I mentioned earlier, I like to say that, Katie will need Zombrex every day between 7 and 8 AM, and there are several ways to get Zombrex. I won't get into detail. If you have problem finding Zombrex, it's your own fault. It's basically all over the city. So yeah, Chuck gets Zombrex for Katie, gives it to her, and everything seems fine. That is of course until a newscast comes on talking about the outbreak.
Initial reports suggest that the man in the video is former motocross champion Chuck Green.
What?
Green.
Yes, we know that Chuck isn't the one responsible for the outbreak, but who's going to believe him? That looks like pretty good evidence. So Chuck heads out to the Fortune City Hotel to meet with the reporter Rebecca Chang.
Boom! Headshot!
Rebecca Chang, Channel 6 Action News.
Chuck Green.
Are you serious? From the security video.
Isn't that a little bit weird? I mean, she covered the story that he caused the outbreak, but she doesn't recognize him. That's grade A journalism. But in exchange for an exclusive interview with him, Rebecca agrees to help Chuck to figure out the proof, and they head to this central security center, the security room, where everything that's happening in Fortune City is recorded. And as they reach it, it's trashed. Somebody destroyed all the equipment to cover the tracks. So something is going on. And if that isn't enough, Sully finds out about Chuck being responsible for the outbreak. Why am I doing air quotes? You can't see that. That's weird. And he threatens to kick them out. So now Chuck has to clear his name. He has to find evidence about what's really going on. He has to figure out who's behind the outbreak. And he does so by going into the underground system of Fortune City, where he encounters mercenaries preparing a train. They take off, Chuck shows up his motorcycle skills, and after a short chase, it is revealed that Tyrone King, the host of the Terror Is Reality show, is responsible in some way for the outbreak. We don't know why he's doing all this, we don't know it yet, but maybe we're gonna find out in the next case, since this concludes case 1 and 2. Yes, I included case 2 in this episode because it was really short. And I believe that's a really good start to the game. We have the zombie outbreak, we have Chuck being framed, we figured out that TK is in some way responsible for the outbreak. We still have to figure out why, and why did he try to frame, or why is he trying to frame Chuck. And I'm pretty sure we are going to have a lot of fun with this game. In the next episode, we're gonna talk about case 3 and case 4 of Dead Rising 2. That's going to be amazing. There's a lot of stuff going to happen. I can't wait to talk about it. But for today, I'm gonna end it here. I hope you guys had as much fun watching this video as I had making it. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting the like button or leaving a comment on this video. If you want to become a kangaroo today... Kangaroo? What the hell is a kangaroo? If you want to become a kangaroo today, do so by hitting the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it and love you forever. This is Ru signing off. Bye bye.